be an interesting video. So I'm working on some like bigger videos that just take a long time to film and edit and make in general, and the projects take forever to make. So today we're just gonna chat and it's gonna be very casual and chill. What is up? It is currently Sunday for me, the Sunday before you're gonna see this video. And I just want to talk about projects that I'm working on. I casted on so many projects. I used to be just a monogamous knitter, and now I am not as much of one, as you will see. So we're going to talk about that and some other stuff. And this will be fun for me to edit, I say sarcastically, because I did no planning. There's no outline for the video that I'm following. I have a basket, and we're going to talk about stuff that's inside the basket. Like every other person on YouTube, I feel like there's a certain law that your video will be taken down if you don't feature coffee or tea at some point in your video. So I'm drinking tea to make sure that the YouTube people don't track me down for breaking the rules. I don't like coffee and I never liked tea, but I did force myself over the course of several years to like tea, which was quite the process, but I successfully did it. It was touch and go there for a while, but I do like tea now. But this is lemon tea because I woke up and my heart was beating a little faster than normal, and I'm like, we don't need caffeine in our lives today. That doesn't need to happen. So this is non-caffeinated lemon tea, which is basically hot lemonade, and I like that. And it's in this adorable mug that my mom got me. I think in my crochet koi fish I talked about this basket, but if you didn't see that video, you should watch it. I like it. This is my dumpster basket. I got it at the dumpster and brought it inside immediately because I'm not above dumpster baskets, and confined it to the balcony for a couple days and cleaned it real good, even though it was like pretty clean when I found it. So this is now my new project holding basket, and I will only ever refer to it as my dumpster basket. I did not organize this basket in any sort of way except for putting my recent finished objects at the top, so that's where we'll start. So my first finished object of the year was something that I cast on in December and finished January 1st of this year, and it is the Sibling Sweater by Laura Penrose. Here it is in all of its glory. This is as much as I'm going to model for you today. I'm on the floor for a reason. It's a on the floor kind of a day. But yeah, this is my sibling sweater. I had a bunch of drops extra fine superwash merino left over from a previous project and decided to make a sweater using up that scrap. And it was between this and the Stripe Hype sweater by Kuda Vakika, because they're two very similar patterns that came out at the same time. And I've already purchased so many patterns from Veronica Lindbergh, also known as Kuda Vakika. It's just so fun to say Kuda Vakika. And I have not purchased very many from Laura Penrose, and I love her YouTube channel, and she's amazing and her designs are amazing, so I decided to get her pattern. And I might get like the Stripe Hype dress pattern or something sometime, but I buy most of her patterns. But I love this. This was so easy to work on, mindless, fun, and I learned how to do jogless stripes with this pattern. I did not know how to do jogless stripes, and I don't know why I thought it was going to be so complicated. It was super easy, and they look amazing. You can't even see them. They don't exist. Which side did I do jogless stripes on? Oh, it's this side. I can barely tell. Jogless stripes for the win. Would recommend this pattern. A friend of mine who doesn't know a lot about knitting or crochet actually pointed out the back shoulder detail, and she was like, oh my gosh, I love that. So that just made me happy. I was like, yeah, me too. Oh my gosh. Good design, Laura Penrose. Nailed it. This is definitely my most worn sweater of the year so far, and I think it will continue to be my most worn sweater of the year. It's wildly comfortable. It's just the perfect fit. Stars aligned on this one. My next finished object is very difficult to show you without putting it on my head, so I'll put in like pictures and stuff, but this was the first cast on and finished object of 2024. For Christmas, my mom got me some cotton yarn, and I think it qualifies as being a bulky yarn, and it has like an uneven yarn texture, which I love. And so I thought it would be fun to show that off with this just a plain stockinette stitch, very simple hat. And I'm not normally a huge fan of bulky knits. I don't like the way that they feel on my body. However, if you're going to do a bulky knit project, do a bulky knit hat. I love this. Like, feeling wise, it feels just as good as like a smaller gauge hat would. And then I also love that it's cotton because I have a very sensitive forehead to itch, and I don't love wearing my alpaca hats that I have. I think all the hats I've made for myself have been alpaca, except for one bamboo hat. So I'm trying to make more hats with like non-itchy materials. So this was perfect. I really like this. It's cute, and I like that it's chunkier knit, and I can style it with other knit pieces that I have. And it just adds like a new texture to the outfit. Up next, we have what I'm calling the Friendsgiving sweater. I have a whole video showing how I made this. And I actually really liked how that video turned out too. I have so many thoughts about this sweater now that I've been wearing it a couple times. I used Drops Daisy yarn to make this, which is a merino wool yarn, and I had not used it before. And this is so warm. I can't wear this inside. It's too warm to be wearing inside. I went outside when it was 15 degrees out on a walk, and this was all I needed for that walk. I did not need a jacket, and I was so overheated. If you need to make a warm sweater because you live in a cold climate, use this yarn, my goodness. And then the other thing is it pills like nobody's business. And I'm not sure if it pills more than average or if it just is more noticeable because it's black yarn. And I have lighter colored stripes, and so the lighter colored stripes will pill and then get onto the black yarn. So the pilling, I think, just looks more obvious, but it does pill way more than other sweaters. I'm not as bothered by that. I mean, nobody loves it when their sweater pills a lot, but also, can we just bring back the worn aesthetic? Can we have things look old and loved and used and handmade? And then fit-wise, this is the perfect fit as well. 2 for 2 on my sweater fits this year. I'm crushing it because last year I feel like I made a lot of pieces that did not fit me quite right. And it's just nice to see that I am like growing in my knitting abilities and I can finally make sweaters that fit me really well. Let's talk about whips. What do I have on the needles? I'm gonna go in order of which ones are further at the top because that's just easier for me. This is Mary. She doesn't appear in videos too often because she's pretty camera shy. Let's talk whips. Works in progress. Things that I am currently working on. I used to be a monogamous knitter, not so much anymore. I have crazy cast on energy, and especially since during these YouTube videos I do a lot of projects specifically for YouTube, and then also have like projects that I'm working on, and then I also do projects for other people, so I just have like a lot of projects going on at the same time. By my standards. I mean, watching other people who knit, like Marissa from Marissa Made, love her YouTube channel, by the way. When she does her videos where she's like, this is what I'm working on, she has like 15 works in progress, at least, probably more at a time. It's amazing. Look, we got 2 cats. Ah! We will never have both of them in the shot. That's fun. So the first whip is a pair of socks that I'm working on. So I've successfully finished 1 sock, yay! And now on to the hard part, which is making the 2nd sock. So I'm like a third of the way through the 2nd sock. These are for my husband. Last time we visited family in Minnesota, we went to a yarn shop that I really like, and I showed him the wall of like sock yarns and said he could pick out one and I would make a pair of socks for him. So he picked out this yarn and so that it reminded him of the Northern Lights. These are the Smart Heart socks by Veronica Lindbergh. It's my favorite sock pattern to follow, so it's just turned into my go-to sock pattern now. Like, I should put my hand in it so you can see, but it's 2x2 rib and really, really stretchy. Even though it is super stretchy, it is like tight on him. Not too tight, but like tight, and I think with blocking it'll loosen up really nice. So I'm looking forward to having these done. Also, I am holding it double because I was not paying attention when he picked this yarn out, and he ended up getting a single ply yarn. And so I'm holding it with another yarn that has like way more plies. I don't know, is this like 4 ply? It's got a lot of plies. Got 4 plies when I cry.
I need 4 ply, 4 ply, 4 ply when I cry. Huh.
Anybody else watch SpongeBob? All right, next. we got another project for my husband. I have made my husband a hat, a sweater, and a pair of socks. And then the pair of socks I'm currently working on, which will be the second pair of socks. And I'm now working on another hat for him because we actually lost his first hat, which makes me really sad. I don't have like hardly anything to show you for this, but I'm using the Drops Daisy yarn in the brown color. I think it's color 14, and I ordered another ball of this just because it's not gonna be enough. I had some left over from my friend's giving sweater, and his other hat was brown, and it just goes well with his wardrobe, and it's a good like neutral for him. So yeah, it'll just be like a pretty basic stockinette stitch hat with a triple folded thing. Brim. I got it this time. I got the word on my own. It's a brim. And I showed him all the hats that I've made for myself, and I've made myself like 3 or 4 hats, and asked him which style he liked the most, and unsurprisingly, he likes the like most basic minimalistic one that I had, which is good for me, easy to make. It is completely self-drafted. I'm not following a pattern for this. And I hope it fits. I might have to restart it because it does look a little bit small, but then I also like tried it on, and I know you can't really try anything on when it's only an inch long, but it seemed pretty big, so we'll see. Maybe it'll be fine. I just need to trust the process. I feel like it's not until I have about like 4 or 5 inches done on a hat where I can know for sure if it's gonna fit well or not. Okay, the next work in progress is a bit of a conversation. If you don't know who Tom Daley is an Olympic gold medalist diver from the UK, and he went viral for knitting during the Olympics last year and crocheting, which is like amazing. And he released a knitting and crochet book, which is like super fun. And my favorite pattern in that book that I really wanted to make was the swirl vest. And I casted it on, and I'm kind of using the swirl vest as inspiration, and I'm not following the pattern exactly. And I did the color chart a little bit differently for myself. For some reason, now that I've made it to this point, I'm just less excited about it, which makes me sad. It's like super fun and colorful, and I love that. But it's also really small, and I think I could make that work for me because it's paneled, so I can have this be the back panel and then make the front panel like wrap around, kind of like I did with the Friendsgiving sweater. So I think I could figure out the sizing and make it work, and I should probably just freaking finish it. I should just finish it, right? Okay, I'm gonna finish it eventually. I'm using Drops Melody yarn, and I have a ton of it now in a bunch of different colors, and I'm definitely gonna have lots left over after this project, so I'll need to come up with a very colorful, scrappy sweater idea using this yarn. I love it though, it's so soft. And I should show you the back. The back's a mess. Intarsia's wild. This I currently have on backwards, but whatever. It's another sibling sweater. I liked the first one so much, I wanted to make a second one. And this has been just a fun, chill knit to have and like go to when I need something that's kind of mindless. And I love it because it was also one of my goals to like start knitting patterns more than one time, which has been so interesting, making them back to back, especially because as soon as I casted off the first one, within a week, I casted this one on. But I'm just having fun. And yellow is super out of my comfort zone. It's like one of those colors that my skin tone should never wear, but I love yellow. It's such a happy color. One thing notable about this sweater is the yarn, because I am worried. I don't have a full ball to show you right now, but this is Capri Eco Cotton yarn. It's like $1.99 per ball. It's so cheap, and for some reason when I first got into sweater knitting, I bought so much of it in different colors, and now I'm living with that decision that I made a while ago in great haste, and I have to use up that yarn or get rid of it. So I'm giving this yarn 2 more chances. So this is chance number 1, sibling sweater, and then number 2 is I'll talk about that later. Chance number 2 is going to be another sweater, and I'm going to do a very loose knit, and we'll see how that fares. Okay, I have 2 other whips. This next one I haven't done much with, but I am pretty excited about, I think. It's the Ingrid sweater by Petite Knit, and I haven't done many Petite Knit patterns. The only other Petite Knit pattern I did is the Sophie scarf, this one that I'm currently wearing. And I just finished the first section, which is moss stitch, and then I'm moving on to, I don't know if it's technically cabling, but like the crisscrossy section next, which I'm looking forward to. I enjoy that kind of stuff. So this will be interesting. And the yarn I'm using is also very interesting. This is Happy Place by Hobbii. There's a YouTube channel called Teal Yarn Crafts, and it's run by Toni Lipsey. And I found her channel because she did really good yarn snob reviews where she buys a bunch of yarn from certain companies and gives them honest reviews. And she does crochet, so she reviews them from a crochet perspective. But she partnered with Hobbii to create her own yarn line, which is like amazing. So I bought up a sweater's quantity of the color Petrol because it's specifically a color that's out of my comfort zone. I don't wear anything that's like green toned, and this is like on the line between green and blue. It's very turquoise. So I'm curious to see if I'll like it or not. But worst case scenario, if I end up not liking the color, I will just dye the sweater like navy blue. I'm really not opposed to dyeing stuff. I know some people like gasp at the thought of dyeing their sweaters, but if I finish the sweater and I really like it, and the only thing that is keeping me from really enjoying it or wearing it often is the color, I'm gonna dye it. So this will just be a fun project to work on. I'm definitely not putting any sort of timeline on this, and I think I'll just work on it over the course of several months and just work on one section at a time and get really into it. We'll see. Okay, and the last one is like huge. Maybe it's not that huge. Not yet, at least. I can't like hold it all up for you. This is the Campsite Waffle Cardigan, and I'm making one alteration to the pattern, which is making it super long. So I think it's meant to be like just below your hip or mid-thigh. And I am planning to make this as long as my body, so like down to my ankles. So it's gonna take a while. And I'm using these massive cones of cotton that I got at Joann's when I was on my cotton kick, and I need to use them up. So here we are, me still using so much cotton. I feel like once I've used up all the cotton in my stash, I'm like not gonna want to knit with cotton for years. I am hoping to have this done by the summer because I feel like this would be so great to have for summer nights, like an oversized, really long cardigan that I can throw on over a tank top and jeans, and like that's my summer night outfit. And then I also really want to have it for autumn because I have these like orange pants that would be really cute with this. I just am looking forward to styling this one. I love when people play with texture in their patterns and they're still only utilizing like knit and purl stitches. So if you know how to do knit and purl stitches, you know how to do whatever that stitch pattern is. I love that. It's so simple, but it just takes a very basic piece to like the next level. And it's just fun to work on. It's fun to not be doing like stockinette stitch sometimes. Okay, I think that's all my whips. And then I have 4 projects like in my mind that I want to talk about, and specifically I want to get opinions about. Did I say 4? I meant 3. So first off, the one that I'm most excited about. So I bought a mini skein set from Coats & Co. and I had it in my Etsy favorites for over a year. I've been wanting this and I just haven't let myself buy it. And I finally did, and it's just as beautiful in person as it was online. I cannot wait to work with these, and I want to use them for something special, but also I'm really worried that if I try to save it for something special that I'm just never going to use it because nothing's going to pop up where I'm like, oh yeah, this is good enough for this yarn. So I think what I want to do is instead highlight the yarn and the colors and do a very simple sweater and do it striped with these colors. That is my current thought. This yarn I need to do something with, and I haven't decided what I want to do with it. Again, I feel like I've been saving it for something and I just haven't done anything with it. This is the Drops Melody yarn. The same yarn that I use for the swirl vest, but I have so many balls of this pink color specifically that I bought for a different project, and then I ended up not doing that project or using a different yarn for it. And so I just have a full sweater's quantity of this yarn. I just don't know what to do with it. The tough thing about this yarn is that I can't do a project that's like cabled or really textural stitch-wise because whatever texture I choose isn't going to show up very well. Like if I did cables with this, I think the cables would just get lost in the amount of halo. So I'll need to figure out how to make the piece really interesting in a different way. And maybe it'll just be interesting the fact that this is a very bold color. I think I'm overthinking it. There hasn't been a pattern yet that's popped up where I'm like, oh yeah, this would be a good yarn for that. Which is why I think with my personality, it's better for me to pick out projects and then pick out a yarn for that project instead of buying yarn and then having to come up with a project for that yarn. So if anybody has any pattern recommendations for what they think would go really well with this, I would say any pattern from 5mm to 8mm needles would be ideal for this yarn. I don't want to crochet with it. I don't want to mess with that. It's way too fluffy for that. I don't think I could do it mentally. So if anybody has any knitting pattern recommendations between 5mm and 8mm sizing that would go well with like this bubblegum pink color, put it in the comments. Please put me out of my misery. Okay, and the last project has to do with that Capri Eco cotton that I was talking about earlier. So like I said, I have a ton of it left over and I have a sweater's quantity of each of these colors. I'm gonna do the sibling sweater, I'm gonna finish that up, and then I'm gonna do one more sweater with this yarn, and it's gonna be the last chance for this yarn. And if I don't like the way that either of those feel, and I don't wear those pieces, then I will donate the rest of this yarn and just not bother making projects that I'm not gonna wear. But I do wanna give it one last chance, and I feel like my idea for this is like objectively a bad idea, and that's okay. I don't mind the look of loose knitting. I think there's a place for it. I think it can look really cute, and I think it's so comfortable. Having loose knit drapey sweaters is like phenomenal. I haven't decided, but here's my idea. I bought this book a while ago. I actually pre-ordered it. It's Cable Knit Style by Joan Ho, and there are some really beautiful cable knitting patterns in here. And I feel like I should just pick one. What color do you think I should do for a cable knit sweater? This is going to be an experiment for many reasons. One, it's the last chance for this yarn. Two, it's attempting to do loose knit cable knitting, which I have not done and I have not seen a lot of. I feel like it could look really bad, but it could also look cute and be really comfortable. So this could just be a massive waste of time, or it could be a good idea. Who knows? That's why we try things. So I'm just gonna open myself up to the possibility of having a fail of a project and just gonna be okay with that. And I'm interested and intrigued by this idea of going into a project being like, this is probably not gonna go well, but I'm gonna do it. Okay, so I'm gonna flash up on the screen the 3 different patterns that I'm considering for using this cotton yarn. And then I want you, if you are comfortable doing so, to write in the comments which of those patterns do you think I should do, and then what color do you think I should do for whatever pattern you think I should do. That is everything. That's everything in the basket. All right, you go work on your projects. I'll work on my projects, and we'll check in with each other later. Yeah, okay, bye. Oh, my name is Isabella. I never said that. I need to start saying that in my videos. My name is Isabella, and this is me talking about projects that I'm doing, because I'm bored and it's Sunday. Okay, you know that thing that kids do in the car where they're like, and they try to annoy you? I'm a full-blown adult and I do that all the time. I just love that sound. It's so satisfying. I hope I never lose my childish whimsy. I hope that stays. Ooh, a cat. All right, I gotta go. I gotta go work on some knitting. I gotta go work on the socks for my husband that I said I was gonna get done a long time ago and I never got done.